I was homeless for 4 months. If you had gone to high school with me, you wouldn't have believed it. I was Sherry Woods, the cheerleader, the honor student, the runner-up for prom queen. I came from a good family. But addiction doesn't care about those kinds of things. No one is exempt. My parents cut me off, refusing to enable me. I wasn't welcome home unless I was willing to go to rehab. I wasn't. I left home with a duffel bag of clothing. Let's just say I did things that I'm not proud of to support my habit. I tried staying in shelters, but getting a bed wasn't that easy. I found shelter where I could. People are scared of you when you're homeless. They never stop to think how you are the one that has the reason to be scared, especially if you're a young girl. Taking shelter was really more like hiding from those who could do you harm. I slept under bridges and in unkempt parks, but the worst place I stayed was the sewers. Judge me all you'd like, but if you ever felt the stinging of icy raindrops pelting on you during a rainstorm, you might do the same thing. I would charge my iPhone during the day, at any place that I could. It had long stopped being able to make calls, but the flashlight still worked, and that was a godsend in the sewers. It was so dark down there. Vermin scurried everywhere, and I won't even begin talking about the smell. Still, I felt safe. Well, as safe as I could feel. I set up my makeshift bed, and I went to sleep. I woke up a few hours later, with the distinct feeling that something was watching me. I grabbed my phone and I turned on the flashlight. Nothing. Not even a rat. Usually this would make me happy, but tonight, it just unnerved me. I kept hearing this strange sound. It was similar to someone clucking their tongue. It kept getting louder, which meant that whoever or whatever was making that sound was getting closer. I decided it was time to get the hell out of there. So I packed up my bags and got to my feet when the clicking stopped. I grabbed my phone and looked around. There was a figure standing probably 40 feet away from me. To this day, I don't know what it was. Only that it wasn't human. It was about 6 feet tall. It was all white, really albino looking. Its face resembling that of a bat with glowing white eyes, sitting in its ugly skull. We just stood like that for a minute, until it let out a large shriek and barreled towards me. I screamed and ran as quickly as I could. I threw my bag at the thing, trying to slow it down while also keeping anything with extra weight off of me so I could move faster. The only thing I had in my hand was my phone, so I could see where I was going. I desperately followed the bouncing light as I headed for the direction of the metal staircase I had used to climb down here. I had kept the round metal plate that led to the street askew to make it easier for leaving in the morning. Still, pushing the plate aside would not be easy, and this thing was right behind me. I made it to the metal bars and began to climb. The metal was slippery from the rain that had continued falling through the opening. I felt a clawed hand grab my ankle, cutting me deep into the skin. I screamed and tried to kick it off, but it was no use. Instinctually, I grabbed the light and shined it in the creature's face. As soon as the light hit the eyes of the creature, it let out a squeal of pain. It can't take the light, I thought to myself. It must have been down here in the dark for who knows how long. I had found a weakness. I continued to shine the light directly in its eyes. It let go of my ankles and I backed up. I limped towards it, phone outstretched. I went on the offensive, causing it as much pain as possible. Suddenly, 2 giant white wings sprouted from the creature's back and shrouded the thing like a cocoon. This was my chance. I climbed up the slippery bars and pushed the metal plate with all my might. I could hear shuffling under me as I got the plate pushed far enough to let me through. I wrenched myself out of the sewer, though not before getting another deep cut on my opposite ankle from the giant claws. I got out into the pouring rain and pushed the metal plate back with both hands. It closed, blocking the horrid screeching sounds that would forever haunt my nightmares. I collapsed on the ground, not believing that I was alive. The shock of the night's events seemed to hit me, and I lost consciousness. The next thing I remember was waking up in the hospital. My legs were bandaged up, and I had wires all over me, measuring different bodily functions. The first thing I did was call my parents. They rushed over to the hospital to my bedside. My mom wouldn't stop crying. They were asking me what had happened. But my only response was that I was ready to go to rehab. Needless to say, I had hit rock bottom. I've been clean now for 6 months. I have a job waitressing, and I'm starting school in the fall. The only person I told what had happened was my sponsor, Jen. She assured me that the drugs had made me see wild things. The whole thing must have been in my head after all. Which is more likely? That a bat monster attacked me in the sewers, or that I had a bad trip? I never argued the point with her. But if it was just a bad trip, where did I get these horrendous scars on my ankles?